there, welcome to another episode of Scrap and Chat. This is Leah, and I hope you're having an excellent day. Today I'm going to be doing another lily pad challenge. This one is by Jamie, which is a challenge on a paper to digi inspiration challenge. And as you can see here, she has some absolutely gorgeous inspiration, and she even has this excellent tutorial. Look, it's like YouTube Inception. It's a video within a video. No, seriously though, it is. She teaches you on a really nice technique on how you can achieve a similar look, which is a lot of fun. So it says one or more photographs must be used, and the background paper must be cut out with words, quotes, or shapes, etc. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And because Jamie came to visit me, I have a picture that I'm going to use. That's me and her, me and Jamie, yay! And I love this picture too because my husband's right there with his tongue out, and it just really cracks me up every time I look at it. It's just funny. So yeah, this is a photo I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be again using my I've Got a Plan for January kit. So let's get started. I already have my initial, page set up. I'm going to be using stars as my primary design detail, I guess, is the best way to put that. So I think I'm going to go, maybe this corner. It's going to kind of be a simple, not a kind of simple, it is going to be a simple layout. I'm like, which side? Which side? Doo-ga-doo-ga-doo, doo-ga-doo-ga-doo. Okay, I'm over it. I think I'm going to put it over here on this side where I originally said I was going to put it. All right, so I've put the picture here in this left corner. And I know right away, and from her tutorial, which was clever, is that you're putting your shapes first and then you create a selection of those and then cut them out of the paper using your selection tool. So it's pretty straightforward, and it's definitely a fast way to do it. So yeah, I'm just going to start by using some, because I have lots of shape. In fact, I'm going to load up some shapes. So let's see, load shapes. And as you can see, I have quite a lot. So these are actually Jamie's star shapes that she had for commercial use back in the day. So I'm just going to use them in the black just like she showed in her video. And I'm going to use different ones. Also, the other reason why I'm using the star is you see here there's a star in the photo. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of mimic it in a way, in a different way. So, I hope you all have been doing better or well if you were sick, as, I complained and whined as I did last week. We are doing much better. I'm sure you can hear from my voice that I sound better, and I feel like we're almost over the worst of it. So, we're feeling pretty happy here in the Reardon household. Savannah's at this point that I'm recording, she's still a little sick, but my Caitlin is better, and I'm feeling much better, almost human-like, which is always nice. I like the idea of stars sort of, I have this idea of maybe if I roughly, not that brush, any brush but that brush, is kind of roughly drawing a, maybe if it was kind of curved down to more. Kind of looks like a growth chart, you know what I mean? You know how you get those growth charts for your kid and you're like, your child is in the X percentile. I totally just did that right on top of my frickin' background, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to be covering it up anyway. That's right. Do not fret, Leah. All right. Like with another paper. So, so I'm going to have my stars follow this path. I'm going to kind of keep them all within this. I think that'll be a fun sort of little detail. So this week I have spent my whole week working on I've got a plan for February, finishing it up, finishing all the planner pieces for it. And actually, I think by the time this video releases, it'll already be out there. So it's out there already. Because it's in the future. I'm talking in the future. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it, though. I had a lot of fun. I was very sick working on it, and so it's quite a bit bigger than I had intended for it to be. And I think that happened just because I was kind of out of it, and I had this plan, which is either ironic or coincidental. I am not sure which one it is because I'm not that smart. But I had, how many of whatever I was going to make. And I was like, yes, I will stick to my plan and it'll be wonderful. And yeah, apparently I didn't. And I went a little overboard and I ended up with like 50 pocket cards and like 333 stickers. And look how specific I'm being. 333 stickers. But yeah, so it ended up being kind of giant, and which was not intended. But I mean, I'm not complaining, and I doubt any customer is going to complain and be like, darn, Leah, why, how dare you make so much more than typically one would. It's like, well, it is what it is. And I really love how it turned out. I was trying to keep it from being too lovey-dovey, but at the same time able to use it for, either or. Because I mean, February is more than just Valentine's Day, obviously. And yeah, so I have like some elements that are kind of specific to that, and then other elements that are just your typical, scrap every day, plan every day type of guys. So overall, I think that's pretty good. I need to move this star right here and not you. There we go. See, we're getting there. But you see what I mean? Like, I'm just going to eventually all these guys. So I'm going to fast forward through this, and that way you won't have to listen to me sit here and be like, I'm making stars. All right, so I think we're pretty good with the stars now. Pretty good? What do you think? I feel like maybe this guy might need to move over here, because I want it to sort of, I think I felt like it's gotten a bit wide, kind of like my butt, right here toward the end. So that little star is gonna have to go. You are the weakest link. And yeah, here we are. Y'all don't know this, but my daughter is sitting next to me and my Caitlin, and I've instructed her to be very quiet. And she's hearing me say these things, and she's trying not to laugh, poor baby. I'm so mean. I'm like, don't you make a sound, or it is death. No, not really. But she's on a little break for her homeschooling right now. She's having a little moment. We've been doing government, and she's been making some really cool, illustrated sort of things. The fun thing is this week we were doing in our Photoshop class, I thought it would be fun to learn how to reskin textures in Minecraft. So that was something we were learning, and I took for granted really that Caitlin knew how to zip files up and stuff. Like, I just assumed like, oh, you know how to do this. And I realized that she really didn't, and I felt so bad because I had gotten frustrated, and it wasn't even her fault. Like, I realized that with this job that I do, we spend a lot of our time, combining files and spinning them up and getting them ready for people to easily download. And I just assumed everyone knows how to do that, like it's not very nice of me. But what is having kids for other than to feel guilty and like you've treated them poorly, I mean, she has to have some sort of issues to talk to her future therapist about, But, yeah, so here we go. Here's my stars, and they're all set up. I'm going to combine these shapes together, like Jamie had put these guys all together. she actually said that there was a way you could do like a command click thing, and I did not know that. But what I'm going to do is, since these are shapes, I'm just going to go to paths and double click that and then just make my path a selection. There's probably a much easier way to do that, but now my path is, or because shapes are made of paths, whatever. I'm just going to delete that from the background layer, and there we have it. Yay, it worked. Of course it worked. All right, let's see. For now I'm just going to flood fill in the background with black again. It's actually not going to look like I did anything. But see there. Yeah. So, moving on. Yeah, I think this picture was taken, like, I forget what day and where we were going. We had so much fun. Now I have to go to Germany, and I am terrified of flying. Like, I'm really scared of flying, and I'm not really sure why either, because I wasn't always extremely afraid of flying. Like, back when I first took a flight somewhere, I was 18, 19 years old. I went out to Utah to visit a friend, and I got sick, but I think it was from the airplane food, like, after. But, I was a little nervous, but I wasn't like, we're going down, like, the whole time. Because basically the whole time I'm imagining the plane in a fiery, very sad crash, like, just really bad things. And let me tell you, a little bit of Xanax is not enough for me. Like, I know that's horrible, but yeah, my daughter's trying not to laugh. Shh, 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 Caitlin, you be good. No, basically, when I flew last, it was out to visit family in Mississippi, and my doctor was very nice and gave me a prescription for some Xanax, and it did nothing. It did nothing. The whole time I'm like doing breathing exercises to get myself to chill out. And I had a very extreme lack of chill. Like, if it wasn't for Caitlin being with me and knowing that I needed to at least to appear that I had myself together, I would have been one of those crazy people that, the poor flight attendants, like, they're just like, good Lord, can someone just kill him now? Yeah, so with all of that said, you can see why I want to go to Germany and visit Jamie. However, I have to get over all of that, what you just heard. Yeah, I gotta get over that really fast. So, yeah. Talk about a little, do you have any fears? Do you guys have any fears like that are just like super irrational? I also have a fear like that when it comes to driving. Like, I have my permit to drive, but I don't have a driver's license because I'm a scaredy cat. And I'm sitting here talking and I haven't even like done this layout. So please excuse me for that. I'm going to start, I'm going to create, I need to make this is the background, and this is where actually it's just there for show. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Now, I'm going to be selecting some of these guys with the polygonal lasso tool like she showed in her video. And what I'm going to do is just sort of plan out where different papers are going to be. So all the ones I'm selecting now will be the same paper, and then I'll do the next one and the next one, and eventually we'll have a bunch of, I'm thinking maybe 5 different papers. So I'm not being nearly as careful as she was, but mine are spaced out pretty good, so I don't have to be too careful. So basically, here's my little paper cutouts that are going to be for my paper number 1. So I'm going to create a new layer and just flood fill that in with black for now, and create yet another new layer. And I will fast forward through this bit as well. All right, so here we are. As you can see, I have all my stars and I have my different layers. All my stars. Okay, and all their little different layers. I don't have a drop shadow applied to the background, but I'll do that right now so you can get a feel for what that's going to look like. You see? Look how cool. Okay, I'm over it. That's actually not how I'm going to do it though. I'm going to do it a little different, but that is how you would do it. Just add a drop shadow and bam, it's done. I'm going to do it slightly different. So, and really the stars are the main feature of this layout. I'm not going to add much more to it. Obviously I'll be adding a background paper, probably have some sort of title, a little journaling, but it's not going to be, I mean, I want these stars and these cutouts to really be the standout, the star of the show. Wink, wink. That was punny. What, right, Caitlin? Oh, she's embarrassed. She's very embarrassed. It's like, just embarrass yourself, Leah. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I know I'm not funny, but I think I'm sort of kind of maybe occasionally. Okay, I'm not funny. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead, apply my background paper. So here we go. There's our background. And yeah, I think I'm going to have maybe equal amounts of solids and patterns. We'll see. We'll see how it fits. I'm just going to start dragging some of the, well, no, I have to use the pink solid because obviously all layouts need pink in it somewhere. What do you think? That one wins. All right, I'm going to use this one. Not there though. So all I'm doing is I'm clipping down these patterned papers into the little star cutouts that I made, like she had shown in the tutorial. It's super simple little technique, and as you can see as I go through it, it's pretty fast to do that. So I'm really liking this. This is going to be so cute. All right. Let's see. What's another one? I think I'm going to use this green one. Ooh, I kind of like him there. What do you think? I'll move this other guy further down. Like that. And then our main stars, these dark ones, I actually like, I still have two to do, but I do like the darker looking color. However, I don't want it to be so dark that you lose any shadow. So, oh, decisions. Maybe I can put, you know, it's not super crazy dark. Like, it could work. If I'm not happy with it, I could just do an adjustment layer, right? And I think I'm going to do that. Just a little adjustment layer. Just, you know what? It usually is over here. Where are you, adjustment layer? How dare you leave me? Adjustments. There you are. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to use an adjustment layer to, maybe a brightness and contrast to just brighten it up a little bit. See? There we go. All right. And last but not least are our little craft colored paper stars, at least in that. So it doesn't have to be. I think I'm going to throw maybe the green in there, that yellowy green, because I just love it. I just love it so much. All right. And I'm going to scale them down a bit because I can. Because the furthest star here is right there. So I can get away with some scaling down and maybe even some rotating should I wish it. I don't though. We're just going to leave him how he is. All right. So again, how this would look if I add the drop shadow to the background is like that. And let me zoom in so you guys can see the detail of this because it's pretty cool. Isn't that neat? Ah, it's so cool. All right. So obviously I get a kick. I get a thrill out of this kind of stuff. I'm wondering if I used a different color paper, would it all stand out a bit more? Or maybe I could lighten up the background, which, again, I'm going to use the brightness and contrast adjustment layer. So I'm clipping it to there, and I'm going to increase the brightness. Yes, that's better. I wonder what happens if I play with the contrast a bit. Turn down the contrast, turn up the contrast. There we go. So now it's a much lighter paper without width. Ta-da! And now my little stars stand out. Lovely. Very lovely. All right. So like I said, I'm not really wanting to use a drop shadow for this. So I'm turning that off, but I'm going to duplicate my background layer itself. I'm going to reclip down that pattern or the solid and the adjustment layer. And then I'm going to go here to my duplicate. Now I'm going to do a color overlay on this of maybe, yeah, a brownish, a dark, desaturated brownie color. Brownies, delicious. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and rasterize this layer. And that's what that is. All right. And this is hidden underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play, I think, with my puppet warp tool. We'll see what happens. I might end up using just the regular warp tool. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pin my corners first, so they're not going anywhere they're not supposed to go. I'm going to add some new pins to some of these stars that are larger. Like this. And maybe right there. All right, I'm going to zoom in a bit, and I'm just going to move it to just kind of get a feel for how it's going to look. So what I'm doing is I'm going to try to make a more dynamic shadow than I normally would be able to do with just a regular drop shadow. So some of them are going to look closer, like closer onto the paper, while some of them are going to look a little more lifted off. Like this one here they look like it's kind of coming up, where these are much closer. I'm just going to move this guy just a wee bit, just a little wee bit there. And it's not a huge detail that I'm going for. It's a little detail to just add a twinge more realism. So you can see that, and now I'm just going to go ahead and do a filter of a blur, a Gaussian blur, to just smooth it out ever so slightly so it does look more shadow-like. So right now I only have it at like 2 pixels. Then I'm going to do multiply, see how it looks, and play with the opacity. So let's see, we're back here, it's on multiply, and I'm going to turn down the opacity a bit. There we go. I really like that effect. Now, I'm going to show you again the difference. So I'm turning off that layer, our background shadow that I created. I'm just going to add a drop shadow to the background as it would be. Right. So again, I'm going to add a bigger shadow so maybe you can see it a bit better. Oh, that's too big. It's too big. Too much. Too much. There. Okay. So this is just a regular drop shadow onto the background. This is the shadow I just created using the warp tool. It's a little different, you know, it's a very minor detail, but I personally love it. And that's what's important, to love a layout. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start finishing this guy up. I'm going to go ahead and merge my paper background layers together. That way it's just one thing, and if I want to clip other things to it, I can. This is what the shadow layer looks like, and look underneath, you can see all the little clipped papers. It's almost like real life. Which is kind of fun because it really is adding this tutorial. It is a much more, not only are you inspired by paper, but you're almost using very much a paper scrapbooking technique with your layout. So overall, I think that's kind of fun. Good times, good times. So I'm just going to be adding some splatters. Yeah. My scrap and chat, listen to me. I'm like, tutorial and chat and scrap and chat. Yes, that. But so we here in the Reardon household are just trying to get our new bearings for the new year. You know how like we make resolutions and you're going to do this and that and the other, and my thing lately has been to set obtainable goals and not to make any goals that, you know, I'm going to kick myself for later. So I talk about a subject change. I'm like, oh, talk to the people. But basically, I don't do weight loss goals anymore. I used to do that. Obviously, everyone does that. I mean, isn't that like the most popular New Year's resolution? I will lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. I've had to stop doing that because I do lose weight. This year I kind of maintained my weight. I had lost and then I like gained back. And I'm trying, let it go, Leah, let it go. You know, it might be fun to add some of these brads going down to like actual dynamic ones. You know what I mean? That's happening. But yeah, so I've tried to steer away from that and just be like, I'm going to have healthier habits this year. I'm going to not kill my children. I'm going to try to be more patient, things like that. And I think those are easier things to do. Or my big one is to not be so afraid all the time and take chance and all that jazz. And so far so good. I'm pretty happy with how this year's going. I feel like our homeschooling is getting there. We're getting there, and as soon as I get off here, actually, I'm going to be teaching Caitlin. But overall, I think it's just been a good experience so far this year, and I love what I'm doing at the lily pad and the collections that I'm making, and trying to focus more on being creative and the art and creating or, coming up with new products for designers as well, and getting my customers, my scrappers, to also learn how to use them, because a lot of the things, a lot of styles and things like that, anyone can use, and just, yeah, it's just been fun. Look at me. I'm like, I put stuff down and then I'm like, no. I like that. I don't know. It's like I feel like I don't want to add much more because I just love the stars so much. I'm having a hard time. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and I will be back as I finish this layout. All right, so here I am with my completed layout. I have here my Christopher. I put like a little LOL right there with an arrow because I want to point. I don't want people to not see that. And it just says May 2015. I met my best friend, in person. So, yep, that's my layout. And I think it wouldn't be complete with a lighting effect, so why not? Let's go for it. If y'all remember from the last time, I'm pretty much addicted to doing this to my layouts. I feel like it adds a lot to them without a lot of effort. And I'm going to set, I've been liking 500 as my color, or not color, the amount of blur. I've been adding my noise at 10%. I do another blur, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I do 2. Actually, no, I don't. 1. I do 1. And then I just change my blending mode to something like soft light. And, or sometimes I do, linear light because it gives a lot more darkness. I then have to turn down my fill significantly with that one. As you can see there, like this would be without, and I'm just moving it into maybe 20%, not quite. There we are. This is 15. So that's 15% with linear light. So that's without, that's with. Again, it's a pretty subtle detail, but that's it. The other thing I think I'll do is change the font for the LOL because I want it to stand out. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this scrap and chat. I know I have, and this is definitely a new technique for me to learn. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to be using it more in my layouts. Maybe you guys will too. How are you doing on the month of challenges? Are you caught up? Let me know. I'm definitely like even more behind than I was. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know. But I will try. All right. You'll have a great day, and bye-bye.